Professor Pitt is a nitwit. Miss Hannah loves garbage. My name is AJ, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about babysitting. I know, because that's what I'm thinking about. I don't get it. Why would anyone want to sit on a baby? That's mean. You could hurt the baby. What did a baby ever do to you?
The baby.
The point is, we were in Miss Banks's class the other day. I have an announcement to make, Miss Banks announced. School is canceled for the rest of your lifetime. What? Everybody started yelling and screaming and hooting and hollering and freaking out. Just kidding, said Mrs. Banks. Time is fun when you're having flies. Line up for art class.
Flies?
Miss Banks pulls lots of pranks. I hate art class. Why do we have to have art? If you ask me, drawing pictures is for little kids. Yay, I love art, announced Andrea. This annoying girl with curly brown hair. Of course, Andrea loves art. She loves everything I hate. She even takes art classes after school. Andrea takes classes in everything after school. If they gave classes in how to blow your nose, she'd take that class so she could get better at
Blow
it.
your nose.
Andrea took a big box out of her desk. It had crayons, colored pencils, glue sticks, and other artsy stuff in it. When I grow up, I want to be an artist, Andrea said.
I'm already an artist.
My mom thinks I'm really creative. I like to make things. She should make like a tree and leave.
What's that mean?
Leaves on a tree, I guess. It's like a pun.
I still don't get it.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
I whispered to Michael, who never ties his shoes.
That's really
Michael laughed, but Miss Banks made a mean face at him, and he stopped laughing real fast. Any questions before we head to the art room? Asked Miss Banks.
I'm just a new person.
If you add an F to art, you get fart, I said.
Like I did a minute ago.
Everybody laughed because I said fart. Anytime anybody says the word fart, you have to laugh.
Oh.
That's the first rule of being a kid.
Well, what if I don't fart?
That's not a question, AJ, said Miss Banks. Thank you for that valuable insight. Onward, fourth graders, to the art room. The art room is on the other side of the school. We had to walk 1,100,000 miles to get there.
I don't think so.
Ryan, who will eat anything, was the door holder. Alexia, this girl who rides a skateboard all the time, was the line leader. Our art teacher, Miss Hannah, was already waiting for us outside the art room. She was wearing a weird hat. Good morning, fourth graders, she said, as we filed into the art room. Do you like my new hat? I made it from bottle caps I found in the garbage.
But that's some money in Fallout.
Next to the vending machine in the teacher's lounge. It was the weirdest looking hat in the history of the world. But I didn't say that because it would be rude. Your hat is beautiful, Andrea gushed. I agree, said Andrea's crybaby friend, Emily, who always agrees with Andrea. Miss Hannah could have made her hat out of frog turds, and Andrea and Emily would say it was beautiful.
Oh!
Those two
No,
love
it isn't.
Those two love sucking up to teachers. The art room is filled with all kinds of junk. Old musical instruments, broken toys, bubble wrap, plastic bags, clothes, pins. At home, my mom makes me clean up my room all the time and pick up after myself. But I guess art teachers are allowed to be slobs.
What's a slob?
I guess it's when you're messy.
Like my room?
Your room is not messy.
Oh.
Hey, maybe I should become an art teacher when I grow up. Neil, who we call the nude kid even though he wears clothes, asked Miss Hannah where he could throw away his gum. Oh, I don't have a garbage can, she said as she took Neil's gum and put it in the jar that said old gum on it. I love garbage. In fact, on garbage day, the garbage men bring the garbage to me. I feel sad when people throw things away. Miss Hannah is bananas. One time I blew my nose into a tissue and Miss Hannah stuck the tissue to a big ball of paper the size of a beach ball. It was gross. Yeah, ew. Today, we're going to do something different, she announced. Uh-oh, I didn't like the sound of that. Different is scary. A special guest has come to speak to us, said Miss Hannah. I'd like to introduce you to my old art history teacher. He's also the president of the Museum of Recent Arts, the esteemed Professor Armand Pitt.
Armpit.
Arm and Pitt. Arm and Pitt. I bet he was a kid. All the other kids called him Armpit.
Yeah, that's
How
what
could
I'm
you
calling
not? We all clap because that's what you're supposed to do when people get introduced, even if they didn't do anything yet. This guy walked into the room. He had long hair, was dressed in all black, and was wearing a cape. I always thought that only superheroes, like my third grade teacher, Mr. Cooper, could wear capes. But I guess anybody is allowed to wear one. And when Professor Armpit was wearing a beret, which is sort of like a frisbee.
Frisbee, what does that mean?
Made out of cloth that you put on your head. Bonjour, said Professor Armpit. And he took a big bow. That means hello in French. I know lots of French. Like, if you want to say yes, you say oui. And it's pronounced we, which makes no sense at all. Well, I guess that's all the French I know, but you can really communicate a lot by just saying hello and yes. The professor is going to talk to us about art history, said Miss Hannah. Isn't that exciting? Yes, shouted all the girls. No, shouted all the boys. Art history? Was she kidding? Art is boring. History is boring. So art history must be super boring. Art is how we express creativity, said Professor Armpit. Blah, 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 blah. Feelings, blah, blah, blah. Meaning, blah, blah, blah. Color and shape, blah, blah, blah. What's he talking about? Blah, blah, blah. When is it going to end? Blah, blah, blah. I'm getting sleepy, blah, 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 blah. What's for lunch? Blah, blah, blah. Why do people sit on babies? Blah, blah, blah.